be prepared. I guess that's why I should probably create it the night before. I just always forget to. All right, now we're live everywhere. All right, good morning. Good morning, Amanian. Thanks for stopping by the stream this morning. Appreciate you keeping it lively on Twitch for us. It's still wild to me how hard it is to grow a following on Twitch. Good morning, Reps. How are you? How are you doing? Mish Miss Haril? Miss Haril, good morning. Good morning. Hello, Sweetcar. Good morning, Bob. It's live. It is live. Yeah. Sorry, I was struggling to get live on YouTube this morning. Good morning, Rampla. Good to see you. Thanks for using my emoji. Appreciate you, man. I love those emojis. How you doing? I'm doing good. Yeah. No complaints, Same old, same old. Just another morning, Another morning, another coffee, some more Rust code. I cannot complain. I would be a fool to complain. Do you know about GSOC? I do not. Please educate me, because I do not know about that. And while you educate me, I'm going to make sure that I'm saying stale coffee. No, this is fresh coffee, not stale coffee. Emotional. I love emotional Jared. I love emotional Jared. It's like my favorite meme. It's my favorite meme. Reps, how can I get my PowerShell to look like yours? So this right here is the thing you see on the screen. That's a system monitor tool called Bottom. So if you do exclamation point bottom in the chat, one of my bots will reply to you with the link. And then if you're talking about this PowerShell, this appearance here, that's where you'd want to use Oh My Posh. So basically, all the details about my PowerShell setup are here. So bottom is what you want. This one, and then you can type PWSH, and you can type oh my posh in the chat. All these commands, and my bot will reply with links to you. Excuse me. It's hard if you started on Twitch unless you have a following on other platform. Yeah, I know and which is I totally understand that. I just think it's kind of wild that they as a platform are the ones that they're okay with that. Like that they're okay with their platform not being a place for people to create and grow an audience, but rather they are just a platform, I guess, for people to consume existing content or consume content from existing creators, which I guess is a strategy. It just strikes me as a little odd. Google Code of Summer or something. I've heard of Summer of Code. Yes, I've heard of that, Sweetcar. I've never participated myself, but I've heard of it before. Of course, Reps. Yeah, man. Happy to point in the right direction. And if you ever need any of the links too, you can always hop in the Discord. I'm sure I can post the links there. My intention is to eventually create Pablo. I haven't seen Pablo in a while, but Pablo used to hang out with us on stream, and his recommendation was I should create something like Wes Boss's setup page, which I thought was a really good idea. I just haven't gotten around to it. I think it's Wes Boss. Wes Boss setup. Yeah, something like this. Oh no, this is for a tutorial. Maybe it was this one. Uses. Maybe this is what it was. But I want to make some sort of post on my blog that's like this, and then I can just link everyone to this post whenever they ask about stuff like that. I just haven't sat down and actually done it, What are you gonna do? There's only so much time in the day. Sweetheart, I'm trying to attempt that. Oh, you're trying to do Google Summer of Code? Nice. Yeah. I've heard good things. I've just never done it myself, but I've heard good things. You heard that's valuable to do? Yeah, I think people used it a lot of times as a way to gain experience and build projects that they can then hopefully use to leverage into like future employment, which I think is great, you know. And if you need that kind of a program to create that kind of structure for you, yeah, why not participate? So I think that's awesome. All right, we're doing more rustlings today. We'll do some rustlings, and then we're going to work on that Notepad app. Basically the same stuff we've been doing for the last, I don't know how many days now. At some point, though, I do need to, I said this yesterday, but I do need to decide on a cutoff with the Rust stuff. Because Advent of Code, when we were learning Go, that sort of had like a natural cutoff. But I think we could go on learning Rust all year long, you know? And so I just got to kind of arbitrarily decide, like, okay, I'm done. Or at least I'm done learning on stream. I think we left off on hash maps. Yeah. Hash maps exercise 3. All right, we have a list of scores, one per line for a soccer match. Each line is of the form team, team, team goals 2. Example, England, France 4-2. You have to build a scores table containing the name of the team and the total number of goals the team scored and the total number of...
Welcome to the party, pal.
Hey, thank you very much, man. That's super nice of you. Level 2 member. That's super, super kind. That's way too kind. Rust so year long 2026 all year? No way. I've got there'll be no time to do anything else. I've had a lot of fun. I do have some existing goals that I'd like to try to figure out, you know. All right. How are we going to do this? So we have to build a scores table containing the name of the team, the total number of goals the team scored, and the total number of goals the team conceded. What? Team 1 name, Team 1 score, Team 2 score. Populate the scores table with the extracted details. Keep in mind that goals scored by Team 1 will be the number of goals conceded by Team 2. Similarly, goals scored by Team 2. Okay, I think I understand what's asking, but it seems like an odd question. So in this example, England scored 4 and conceded 2, and in this example, France scored 2 and conceded 4. All right. Oh, I didn't see this. They gave us a struct. Okay. Yeah, I can do this. So let's remove this to do here. And hey, Born to Shine again. Thanks, man. What a W. What a W way to start the stream. Thank you very much for becoming a level 2 member. That's really nice of you. Good morning, crew. Appreciate you. Ilmani and more learning. Yes, we are doing more learning. More learnings. All the learnings. Bob, you have to get good enough with Rust that you write Rust for C# for devs. I don't think I'll ever be good enough to teach another person how to learn Rust or how to write Rust. But you know, I guess aspirational goals are never a bad thing. Good morning, crew. Good to see you. I think I said it already, but just in case I didn't, good morning. Good to see you, man. All right, so we need, let's do, let's silence Copilot for a second. And let's do entry 1. Sorry, let entry 1 equals team scores. And that's going to be equal to goals scored and goals conceded. This is going to be entry 2. And this will be team 1 score, team 2 score, and then we'll flip them and we'll do team 2 score, team 1 score, and then we'll do scores dot insert, and we will insert team 1 name along with entry 1, and then we'll do the same thing here. And the only thing we'll change here is we'll do team 2 name entry 2. Now this is complaining because I don't have semicolons where I should have semicolons. Please forgive me. All right, and now we should say now what we should do is we should say oops. We should pass. What's this say? Teams, okay, validate team score 2, panicked at exercise, left, right equals failed. Left is 1, right is 3. Left is 1, right is 6. Did I flip these? So team, goal scored by team 1. That's weird. Oh, because okay, so we have multiple entries? Oh yeah, they're like summing them up, see, because they've got England. They expect England to have 6 goals scored. All right, so we have to check to see if they're in the mat first, and then if they are, add them. Otherwise, so we can do scores dot contains key team 1 name. Otherwise, we'll set it. There's probably a simpler way to write this, just based on how repetitive this is. Team 2 name. Then we'll do let existing score equal scores dot get key value. No, get team one name. And then we'll say scores dot insert what do we want to insert here? I guess we want to insert team one name again to override whatever's there, and then we want to say set the existing score again, but after we mutate it. Problem. Why is it still complaining? Expected team scores found ampersand team scores mismatch types. Is this where we need to do get mutt? Huh. Okay. We need to go to the book. Because I don't understand how to work with. To the book, to the Rust book. Let's see, update. This is where I want overriding a value. Adding a key and value only if a key isn't present. That's what we did yesterday. Or insert. Updating a value based on the old value. That's what we want to do. This is exactly what I want to do right here. Okay. So basically we do something like this where we say let team one existing and we do something like this where we say scores dot entry team one name, and then we say insert team one's score. Oh no, sorry, entry one. And if there is something that's existing, right? If there is something that's existing, we're going to say team one existing scores equals goals scored plus team one score. Team two existing scores dot goals. Oops, not team one, team two. Team one dot goals conceded I'm not sure exactly this is the way I would do this myself if I was managing this data, but this seems to be what we're after, I think. Team 2. And this will be Team 2 score, 1 score. I think this is what we want to do. Nope, we're still failing. We have 1 passing test and we have 2 failed. I don't think I know why, though. Hey, good morning, Mark. Good to see you. KV feel like mental torture every time. Steven, those exercises, where did you get those? Is it available for other languages? I don't think so. This is specifically for Rustlings. Here, I can put the link in the chat. It's in the description of the stream, but I know sometimes it's hard to get to that. Sorry, let's see, at crew. There you go, man. I don't think there's other things like this, or I don't know of any other things like this for C# or TypeScript or any of those languages. I mean, there's other resources to learn the languages, just nothing like this. Ilmanian bro got some fancy suit on. Me? Oh no, this isn't fancy. It's just a it's like a 3/4 zip, like pullover. Yeah, nothing fancy about this. My mother-in-law got this for me for Christmas. It's very soft. That's why I like it. I like really soft clothing. My Minecraft hacker reports 4092. Nice username. Little wordy, but fair enough. Just starting out with NeoVim now. Is there an advantage to using PowerShell over terminal? So I guess what you're saying is you're using the command prompt. Is that what you're saying? Because I'm using the terminal app, but I'm using PowerShell as the shell in Windows Terminal. And Windows Terminal lets you have whatever shell of choices you want. Like you can configure multiple shells. I just prefer PowerShell myself, but you could probably get away with just using command prompt. Or if you wanted to use something that was more like Linuxy, you could do git bash if you wanted. Assuming you're tightly coupled to the Windows system. And then if you really wanted to go Linuxy on the Windows system, you could do Ubuntu or some other Linux distro if you set up WSL, which is Windows subsystem for Linux. It's just kind of up to you what you want to get going. But I don't think there's any like particular advantage to using PowerShell over something else. Just personal preference. Ilmanian, cool shirt. Oh, thank you. I think it's for. Oh, yep. Sorry, crew. Yep, I tagged the wrong person. That's my bad. You can just tell me to get my shit together. It's okay. You won't hurt my feelings. At Mark, here is the link. It's my bad. That's be my bad. Good morning, Oblivious. Thanks for stopping by the stream. Appreciate you. I'm coming back later. Okay, I'm on in. Have a nice day. If we don't see you again, if something holds you up, have a good day. How's it going, King of Crabs? Cyberlinka, good to see you, man. I wouldn't call myself the King of Crabs, that's for sure. Is it fine if I split my programming practice by coding both on paper and actually coding too? Yeah, I don't. Mysterious Explorer, first of all, hello. Hope you're doing well. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you should learn to code the way that best suits you. Crow of Demise joined your stream and my nose starts bleeding. Oh man, I'm sorry about that. Hope you're doing okay. Hey mate, how are you? I am doing good, Born to Shine. You really kicked off the stream with a big alert, so I appreciate you. Catching y'all tomorrow. I'm busy right now. Okay, Born to Shine. Thanks again, man. Really appreciate you. Thanks for being a member. Too kind to you. Thank you. Of course, yeah, of course, yeah. I'm not again. I'm not sure my advice or my answers are always particularly helpful, but they are mine. Yeah, of course, Mark. Yeah. Hopefully you find that helpful. I know that you weren't probably looking for the specifically the Rust language, but maybe if you do some googling around, that's like other things like rustlings or something like that, or like rustlings in whatever language. Maybe Google will find you something. Bob, no, coding on paper is great for practice for interviews. Yeah, I agree with that. I also agree like that there's something to be said about. I think that's one of the scary things about LLMs, right? If you rely on LLMs a lot and you're actively looking for a job and you get put up in front of a whiteboard and you're waiting for that ghost text to appear on that whiteboard. You're like, wait a minute, where's Copilot at? I mean, I would hope most people probably, as part of their interview prep or their job huntings, probably sharpen up their skills. But we be hash mapping today. All right, so let's see what's going wrong. We got one test that passed. We got two tests that fail. So validate team score 1. We build the scores table, and we get England. And England should have a goal score count of 6. And we are getting 10. So we are capturing more than we should. And why is that the case? So England should have 4. England should have 6. No. 6. Oh. So we're adding things multiple times. So we should have... Yeah, we should have 6. Because they scored 4 here. And they scored 1 here. And they scored 1 here. So that's 6. So why am I counting 10? Let's look at my code again. So we have team 1 score is goal scored. In uni, we had to code on paper for Pascal and C courses. Yeah, that was a pretty shocking experience when I took computer programming 1 and 2 in college. I didn't get a CS degree, but it was actually, I was pretty blown away the fact that I had to actually go to campus and sit in a room with a group of people, and we had to write out a program on paper and then turn that program in as part of like a test. And I was like, wow, I never thought that I would be writing code by hand when I signed up for this course. I'll copy the question, then let AI help me on configuration to allow me to answer those on different languages. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a super smart idea. Have like AI generate you versions of the same questions over similar topics for that particular language. That's a great use of AI. Okay, so I don't understand. Oh, so is this if I this is gonna if I do the insert, does this return me whatever I inserted? I bet it does, doesn't it? It's team 1 existing scores dot team 1 score. Oh, whoops. I always forget how to print. This is like Rust all over again. Or sorry, Go all over again. Team 1 score. I think that's what's happening. I think yeah. So I didn't expect this to be populated. So then how do I... What's the best way to just... Oh, yeah, that's probably the best way to do it, right? Start them at 0. Like put the score in there. Yeah. So just always start this at 0. Right? And so we can do like default entry. And then do something like this, where we just say move occurs because entry has type team scores, which does not implement the copy trait. Oh, yep, that makes sense. So I'm just going to inline this then. Hey, there we go, man. That was a tough one. That was a tough one. Okay, so yeah, working with hash maps is a little tricky, but it probably feels tricky just because I haven't used them before, as much in Rust. But that was hard, or like moderate, medium, maybe. I mean, compared to the other exercises we've done. Oh, we made it to another quiz. Let's see if I can pass this quiz. Quiz 2. You should look at the recommended solution for that team scores one. Oh, for sure. Does it generate the recommended, or does it just use what I did? Hash map 3. Okay. Or default. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. And so you can use that because this implements the default trait. Okay, I like that. Thank you for calling that out, Oblivious. I like that a lot. That's very succinct. So we just do this, or default. That's super nice. I tell you what, Rust is winning me over. I will say that. For example, here's some things that have changed since I've started writing Rust. I actually think snake case might be the proper way to name things. um, I love the fact that the compiler tells me when I'm trying, when I have. I love that the fact that the compiler, the borrow checker, prevents me from creating race conditions. Just like by default, I don't even have to think about it. It just tells me when I fuck up. And yes, snake case for life. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, it's winning me over. And then there was another thing about Rust that had, crap, I forgot. There's like 3 or 4 things that Rust has changed my mind on, or that I really appreciate about it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So thank you, Oblivious, for pointing out. But there's another like little bit of like syntactic sugar that's like, yep, I like that. So I'm curious, if I remove this though, does that mean that it can't have access to that method? Yes. So that's what I would expect. Okay. Okay. Cool. That's very, very cool. What happened? Oh, I'm on the quiz. Sorry. I'm on quiz 3. I also love that you've caught on to or default. Yeah, that was Oblivious was the one that pointed that out. She was the one that went to tell me to go look at the solution. I would have just left my very ugly verbose code there. Top of the morning to you too, sir. How are you? S1 Cube. Good to see you. Oblivious, they were pre-made. Yeah, it's super nice. You might be bewildered. Not bewildered, but very appreciative of the code. It's nice syntax. Personally, I adore the magic behind the method generics, such as collect, where it figures out the type you're wanting to return. Oh, I guess I haven't even got to that yet. That sounds nice. That sounds lovely. Mark, my professor also did that to us, and at the moment, I realized that I won't survive college if I don't study well enough. I passed a paper with just a int x on it. Yeah, it was kind of. I mean, I can't believe people who did full CS degrees. I'm sure it gets way more intense than what I experienced. Having to do things by hand. I mean, I guess that's the only way to really prove whether or not you know the syntax is if something isn't helping you write the syntax, right? And by something, I don't necessarily mean AI. I mean an LSP, snippets, right? Like to really test your knowledge. When I completed C course on test review, professor told me that this is first and last time you used a triple nested while loop in your life. And yeah, coding on paper tends to be very confusing. You're like, what's wrong with a triple nested while loop? There's nothing wrong with that. Good morning, Amba. Good to see you. Derek, is the syntax the point of the degree? I don't think so. I didn't get a computer science degree. I just took as elective. I got a degree in biochemistry, and so I took computer programming 1 and computer programming 2 as electives, and so that was really my only experience with having to write code by hand. But I think it's kind of funny that how do I zoom my lens in? There we go. I will say that a lot of people right now with the popularity of AI. Sorry, I'm trying to focus my camera. With the popularity of AI, a lot of people are saying that like syntax doesn't matter, that like authoring code doesn't matter. And I have to admit, I'm suspicious. While I think that you could probably get pretty far without knowing the syntax today because you have LLMs, I'm suspicious that the experiment we're currently running is going to prove that actually writing code is important for developing some level of intuition or knowledge about how you should solve problems, um, or how you solve problems well. Granted, I might be proven completely wrong, but I think it's sort of the equivalent of like what writing means to being a good thinker. I think it's kind of equivalent to that. So right now we're running like a giant experiment that basically says, what does a class of engineers who never write code look like? You know, that's bad. We're gonna find out what that does to people in 5 or 10 years. Reacts. The semantics are the key. I worked in over 30 languages by now. Syntax is the least important part. Yeah, I probably would agree with that. The loop messed me up back then, especially making shapes. Yeah, like if you ever have to write a for loop to like draw the little Mario like block, like create like block stairs, you know? Yeah. I don't know the C language, but I got my CS degree. It's mostly theory. Need to write full booklets. In my college, they even don't allow us to use IDEs, only Notepad allowed. Piss off with Python syntax. I mean, I understand. I mean, that's what I guess that's probably what they've been tasked to do is verify that you know the language. And do you really know the language if you can't? If you know what I mean? It's like, do you know English if you don't know the English, the words? Like, if you don't know the actual words to speak, do you know the language? I don't think it. I don't think you need to write code like that forever, right? But I mean, I think that's why the AI discussion is interesting because it's like you have junior people who are jumping straight into AI tooling, and you have a lot of senior people who are praising AI tools. And I think seniors are probably it's perfectly fine for a bunch of people who have been coding for 20 plus years to just use AI to do all their work. But is it okay for someone who's only been coding for a year or 2 years to use AI to do all their work? Right? It's like, what's the impact on that person? It can't be the same impact as what it has on the senior person because the senior person's so far along, right? Words are vocabulary. The way I see it, it is words are vocabulary. That's fair. The spelling is orthography. I'd have to look up that word. That's a big word. Syntax still matters. Vibe coding produces buggy code. Can't handle a big task. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that because it seems like people who it seems like if you give an engineer AI tools, they can do a lot of cool shit with it, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that the LLM's doing all the heavy lifting because you need like a really senior engineer to be able to steer the LLM properly. Um, I mean, I think like if you're just taking my mom and sticking her in front of Cursor, we're probably not going to end up with the best software. But if you give Cursor or if you give Copilot to somebody like David Fowler or maybe even Dave Cutler from the Windows team, like I'm sure they can do some pretty cool shit with it, right? I also agree that AI shouldn't be used as a quick fix for solving problems for newbies. Actually, understanding a problem is the most important part of learning something. Yeah, I kind of agree, and I kind of agree that the only way you learn how to do that is you got to struggle with problems. Um, I'm working out some of my thoughts on you guys by having these conversations, but it's kind of shocking to me how much people want to um, they only want to acknowledge the positive uses or the positive effects of using AI, and nobody wants to consider the negative effects of AI. And I'm not saying that one makes the other invalid or vice versa, but when I think of like how we teach people other subjects or how we learn other subjects in school, and I know there's probably arguments like is that the proper way to teach people these subjects, but like when you go take a test in school, like they don't just give you the answer. They don't just give you an AI bot that can spit out the answer. They force you to solve problems and practice solving those problems because it does something to your ability to think and to own the knowledge that you've been learning. So I don't know how somebody says, well, writing code's different. It's different. You need to think at a higher level. You need to think at you got to level up. No more thinking about the details. You just think big picture. I don't know. I don't know. I do think the syntax of a coding language matters, as it enables your logical thought process. Although, yes, many languages might share syntax there. I agree it's not as important. Yeah, I think that's the part that I'm worried about is the logical thought process. That somehow when you remove the act of writing code, does it make it more difficult to develop that type of rigor in your thinking? And I don't know, maybe it doesn't. I mean, we can't really know. We can't really know any of this because we won't know until this plays out over the next decade. Which it'll be interesting because I might be doing something completely different at that point, and then I'll be coming back to the software development industry and being like, "So, how did the AI thing turn out?" But I built a temp controller with AI within 2 hours for a demo. I didn't write a single line of code, but still the edge case fails. It's great for a quick demo. I think it's got a lot of great use cases for sure, Amba. Yeah. If I'm able to write the program myself and I use AI to speed up the code writing process, am I really getting any negatives? It may be less fun. It may be less fun than going through the problem yourself. Yeah, I don't know. And Derek, that's kind of where I'm playing devil's advocate. It's like I don't really know if it does or not because the only thing I can offer is what everyone has done in the past and what I've heard from other people in the software development world, which is they've all said that like struggling with problems and working through it, building difficult things is how they got good, right? And so I guess the experiment we're running is can you get that same skill and that same ability but use AI to do all the code authoring for you, right? Can you get to the same destination with a different activity? And we just don't know. Like LLMs haven't been around long enough for us to really. So that's why I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate of like everybody I've ever talked to or heard talk about getting good at programming has said, you need to struggle, you need to work through a problem, you need to really like get in there and like get into the trenches. And so now we're saying, well, with AI, you don't need to do that. With AI, you just need to think at like a more abstract, higher level, but you can still become an equally good engineer. And I don't know if you can. Like, we're going to have to see. As kids graduate college and work in the industry for the next decade, I guess we'll find out. For the project's purposes, there are indeed or no few negatives, but in the long run, you straight up stopped practicing. Yeah, right? Like how can you be good at understanding code and reviewing code and understanding the decisions of how to properly write code that's easy to maintain and perform it and all those things if you yourself haven't done it? So when the LLM spits shit out, how do you where does that judgment come from now? I guess that's the question. Someone pointed out a lot of us probably learned how to program by throwing Stack Overflow answers at the wall and watching it break. AI lets new people do the same but get further. Yeah, that's totally valid, man. It's a totally valid. I still feel like that my experience using Stack Overflow and Google was different than my experience using AI. It's hard for me. I haven't found the right way to articulate it because I do see the analogy, like the similarities between these two activities, but my experience doing them is different because I learned to code before ChatGPT was released. So I know what it feels like in that pre-AI world, but I don't know. I'm trying to have strong opinions loosely held on this at the moment, right? This is just what I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking at the moment, and I'm happy to be proved wrong. I just offering my thoughts. Just like working out, once you have muscles, you need to keep working out. I think so. I'm with you there, Oblivious, 100%. But for whatever reason, people are telling me doesn't apply to coding. If you hold architecture in your head and actually see the connection between the different layers of your code, then it's straightforward that using LLM does the trick. I guess. I mean, but where do you get where do you get that intuition or that, how do you build up a mental model of what good software looks like so that you can properly architect it without building it yourself? It might not be a terrible teaching tool, but we'll have to see. Exactly, we'll have to see. I'm with you there. But I love hearing everyone's opinions because they're helping me kind of think through my own and see flaws in the way I'm thinking about it. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to share what you guys are thinking. As a 4-year experienced dev, should I aim to be more AI savvy every day? I mean, I think you like at some extent we're all kind of like beholden to the market. So none of us can go into an interview, I think, today and say like, I will not use AI, right? Like we can definitely be skeptical of it and we can definitely have our own personal reservations about it. But I think if you're going to be employable in the current marketplace, you sort of have to know about AI tools and you have to know how to use them. Byte cubes, AI is just a tool. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yerp. That's all you needed to say, Oblivious. Yerp. Derek, that's a good point. If we never created the program before, I will still code it myself with, I guess, autocomplete on. But if I've done it before, I think letting LLM speed it up is the way to go. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? And I don't judge anyone's use of AI. Like if people are really confident in their belief that like they can get really good at programming and coding just through speaking natural language to an LLM, I'm like full speed ahead, right? I'm just personally not super confident that that's the case, right? And so we all sort of have to make our bets based on our own thoughts, right? Our own beliefs, our own intuition. Because right now there's not a clear answer, right? Good morning, you lass. Thanks for being a member, man. Thanks for stopping in. Mark, I use AI since my knowledge of system integration isn't great. Best practices, mostly after doing research with Google, written blog solutions, most of them are just acceptable opinionated answers. Yeah, and I hope I'm being pretty clear. Like I think AI is wonderful for rubber ducking and getting answers to questions and making your search experience much faster and more efficient. My particular reservation with AI is around opening Cursor or VS Code or whatever tool you're using and just speaking natural language into some LLM that then spits out all the code and you say, yep, looks good to me. That's the usage of AI that I'm saying is, I think, suspect to me at the moment. Stack Overflow is the only good thing that died because of LLM's toxic place. Stack Overflow was a toxic place. I benefited so much from Stack Overflow, but I wanted nothing to do with the community there. Which maybe that makes me a terrible participant in that space, but like, yeah, that whole community was very scary. It just seemed like every time you would open your mouth, someone would like tell you to shut up and sit down. Rayx, I still hate AI autocomplete, but I'm warming up to using AI to search docs and get example snippets. Yeah, that's where I've kind of relegated my AI usage at the moment. I'm still trying to prototype an AI coding agent that's more of like that has more of like a senior dev pair programmer persona. So I'm gonna experiment with using AI in that way, um, and see how that feels. Mr. Birdbum, can I make you something, please? Can I ask for something, please? What are you talking about, Mr. Birdbum? Sorry, I'm behind on messages. Hope you have a great day, bro. Happy coding. Thank you very much, man. That's such a kind message. I wish the same for you. Just like we brought it up before, vibe coding is a skill, but it's about software architecture. But for some of us, coding is as if not more enjoyable than just planning. 100%. That's totally valid. One of the developers I look up to the most is a gentleman named David Fowler on the .NET team. And he has been going nuts with his Copilot usage. And he is 100% full speed ahead on the AI train. And I think it makes a lot of sense for someone like that. I mean, this is a guy who's been programming for 20 years, right? And he's done a lot of cool things. So it makes sense to me that his bottleneck is how fast he can translate his great thoughts into actual code. So it makes sense that like AI would be a huge boon to him. I guess I'm more concerned for people like me who are still trying to get their reps. But like, here's a post he posted the other day. The AI hype is absolutely real for software engineering. If you have not yet had your opus moment yet, I suggest working on a side project that does not matter and letting AI take the wheel, just to experience in a safe space what is possible. So like, and his like a lot of the content has been about using coding agents and Copilot. And again, it's like I think this makes sense. But then how does one get to David's level if they come out of college and all they do is rely on Copilot? Because David didn't get to his abilities by using Copilot because Copilot didn't exist. So that's my devil's advocate where it's like, how do we know that somebody can come out and be equally as competent in 20 years down the line going a completely different. Basically, it's like going back to the workout example. It's like we know how to take people and turn them into Olympic gymnastics. We have this is the training regimen. This is the thing you do. And then deciding like for this kid, we're going to do a different training regimen. No one's ever done it before. We have no idea if it produces good gymnasts, but we have a theory, so let's run with it. Right? So somebody has to be the guinea pig. And I'm not sure I want to be the guinea pig. That's my thinking on the matter. Crew micro slop. Oh man, I wouldn't call anything David Fowler produces micro slop. I mean, he's a really, really good engineer. I personalized Chat GPT to stress test me. It forced me to think and gave me questions that allow me to grasp the idea much better. Yeah, I like that about AI. If you can work with AI in that way, I think it's a huge benefit. What I see people doing though with AI is I see people just like AI make me go burr, so I just like you know what I mean? That's what I see people doing with it. AI doesn't know the proper COBOL language yet, but it helps give a basic layout of code. I still need to fix the syntax and be debugging. It's great help to find things easily. That's good. It's really nice to hear other people are finding a way to balance AI in like a sane way. Bite cubes. I treat AI like they are my slaves. That's awful. That's an awful way to phrase that. How about you treat AI just like a tool, like not like a slave? Mohammed, hey, I'm new to coding, but going through, I kind of like find interest in back-end development, then front-end development. Is it okay for me to continue with back-end, or am I missing something? No, I think you should follow your interest, Mohammed. The technology world is just so big, right? There's so many things to be good at and do. So I would follow your interests. I think if you're interested in something, you'll do more of it, and when you do more of it, you'll get good at it, and then that flywheel just kind of keeps going. So that's my thought, man. Is like pursue your interests. All right, I have to take a quiz now. I feel like this is not the right quiz, though. Yeah. It was like, we haven't talked about generics or traits. What are we doing here? AI have no idea about elite ball knowledge? I guess. I mean, I'm sure it has some idea, right? Because it's probably been trained on some pretty baller code, but I can't help but wonder, can I get to an equal level of competence as David Fowler just by using AI for the next 20 years and never writing code myself? I don't know the answer to that, but I think right now I'm just going to lean into my approach at the moment, and we'll see where I come out on the other side. I may be just made obsolete and have to go do another job, which is okay, but at least I guess at least I went down on my own terms. All right, so what are we doing here? Let's build a little machine in the form of a function. As input, we're going to give a list of strings and commands. These commands determine what action is going to be supplied to the string. It can either be uppercase the string, trim the string, append bar to the string a specified number of times. The exact form of this will be the input is going to be a vector of 2 length tuples. The first element is the string. The second one is the command. The output element is going to be a vector of strings. So we have our command, or this is an enum, command enum. So we can uppercase, we can trim, or we can append a certain number of times. Complete the function as described below. What do we need to import to have transformer in scope? I think we need to use my module. All right, so let's uncomment this. GC. And remove the to-do. Whoops. And then let's properly type this. So our input is going to be a tuple, right? Or I guess a vector of tuple. And so this is going to be a string and a command. And then this is going to take, this is, what did it say it's going to return? A list of strings. Yeah, a list of strings. So we'll have a vec of string. And then we'll just return, I guess, a vec. Okay. Now this guy is complaining. Why are you complaining? Cannot find function transformer in this scope, so that's where we need to say use my module. Or well, I think what I've seen us do in the past is where people will say they'll use they use super and then they say something like star or something like that to bring in everything. Unmerge use, normalize the import, removed unused import. Okay, so how do I bring in my module into scope? So we brought in command like that. So we need to do super my module like this. Oops, not user, use. There we go. No? Okay, but I guess I could do transformer, and then I wouldn't have to do this, right? I think that's what they wanted. I think they wanted this. Okay, now we just need to write the logic to build the output. So since we have a command in our tuple, we can just match over that, right? So we can say match on input 1. And then we can let the compiler or the analyzer implement all those for us. Oh no, this is a vector. So we have to iterate. Oh, we have to iterate over the vector. So we have to do for, I guess, item in input. And what does that give us? That gives us a string and a command. Expected vec string global found unit expected struct. Did I not type that right? Oh my goodness. What am I trying to do here? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to loop over the vector. So why are you telling me that this is wrong? If I just want to print, let's say I just want to do something as simple as printing I.0. And let's say I just return, for now I just keep an empty vector down here for return. Oh, is that why you were complaining? Format my, oh. Guess I can't do that there. So I have to do this I.0. Okay, let's see if it's running. All roads lead to some foo bar hello. Yes. Alright, so then at this point we can match over our I.1, and then we can fill the arms. And so I think what I'll do is then I will have let mutable results equals a vec, vec of type string new. here we'll return that result. Variable does not need to be mutable. Yes, it does. It does need to be mutable. We just haven't got to that part yet. All right, so at this point, what we'll do is we'll say let uppercase equals I dot 0 dot upper to uppercase, and then to owned, and then we'll say results dot push uppercase. That, and then we need to do the same thing here. So let's do that. Do that. Put that here, and we will call trimmed. Sorry, hold on. I see the chat moving out of the corner of my eye. Push the trim, and then we'll do something like this. So append is a little different. Append has a parameter, so this is num of times to repeat, and so append bar to the string a specified number of times. So let's see, let value to repeat, but this actually can be a constant, right? Const value to repeat, and this is a string. Can be, I guess this is a string literal. This would be bar, and then we say let repeated equals value to repeat dot repeat that, and then now we need to put those together. So we will say final equals join, maybe joined is the right word. Joined, and we'll say repeated, or sorry, I dot 0 plus repeated. And so we can say to owned here. Expected but found string mismatch type. I don't remember. How did we do this? So this is an owned string, and this is an owned string. So how do we join two owned strings together? Owned, just join two owned strings in Rust. Format. Push stir. I think that's what I'm thinking of. Push stir. 0.push stir repeated. And then here we'll say to owned. Expected string found mismatched type. Oh, because that mutates the. Oh, I want to create a brand new string. So how do I do that? I guess the format macro is the right thing to use. There we go. Now we're all happy. So then we return the result. And I think that will get us to where we want to go. So this should be trimmed. This should be uppercased. This should be foo bar. And then this should be bar, 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 bar. 6 bars. Never mind. It looks like it failed. Okay, so why did it fail? Left, right failed. Okay, left is hello, all roads lead to Rome, foo bar, 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 bar. And we have right, hello. These are right. This one's right. This one's wrong. Why is it wrong? Because I'm not trimming. I'm uppercasing. Trim. That's what copy and paste gets you every time. Hey, look, we passed. Quiz number 2. Done. We be passing. Hey, GG, we did it. We did it. Woohoo! Yeah, that's right. Woohoo! Hey, what's up, Stefan? Long time no see, man. How are you doing? You're over on Twitch today, huh? Appreciate you, dude. I hope the wrestling is going well. I hope school's going well. Hope life is treating you well. Watching that horizontal stream. Awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out over there. I appreciate it. It gets quite quiet over there on Twitch. We've got a pretty good group over on the YouTubes, but it gets pretty quiet over here. You can omit the type in the new call. It will be inferred from the return type since you return it directly. Oh, nice. Okay. So let's just get rid of that. Thank you, sir, for calling that out. Or ma'am. I'm sorry. If I ever misgender you guys, I really am sorry. And feel free to correct me. I know everybody has different different comfortability with how much they share of their personal life online. So, but if I ever do call you, if I ever call you sir, or I call you man or dude or bro, and you're not, you're a girl, I'm really sorry. How's Russ going? Russ is going good. So when I started writing it, I was kind of like, yeah, this isn't for me. But now after 10 days, I think this is like the 10th or 12th day that we've been writing it, it's growing on me quite a bit. I'm actually finding myself thinking that there's probably a lot of things here that I'm going to take back to how I write code in other languages. The one thing that was the thing I was saying earlier, chat, that I forgot. I love the match. The use of enums, matching and exhaustive pattern matching is awesome. I love that. I love the fact that you can basically use enumerations to drive your implementation, right? So like if you add a new enum, the compiler tells you all the places where you have yet to handle that case, right? And so if you can boil your logic, your business logic down into sort of these enumerated states or cases, the compiler does a lot of work for you, a lot of helpful hand-holding of the different places in your code where you need to like flow the or where you, basically a different place in your code where you need to go and update and handle that newly added situation or that newly added state. I really like that. Rust legit changes how you think about your program, which I love. And I think that's the value in learning new things, right? That's the hugely beneficial thing, value to like exposing yourself to new ways of doing things. So I'm a fan, Stefan. I'm a fan. I love how the Rust experience so far has been. Yeah, it has been like that. It's been lots of peaks and valleys. Cool. Yeah, it's going good, man. Yeah. So I hope you're doing well. Yeah. You've been pretty quiet lately. Haven't seen you around the stream, which I get it. Life is lifing, but glad to see you this morning. All right. Well, since we passed the quiz, I think that's enough rustlings for today. I think we're gonna switch over and try to work on the Notepad application. But I think before we do that, we will make some coffee. So let's make some coffee, and then we'll try to add some functionality to Zoe. It was a clever name. It's just difficult to pronounce. Go versus Rust comparison need? Yeah. Let's see. Off the top of my head, I actually think that Go and Rust are more similar than maybe C# and Rust. Like this idea of like structs and functions that operate, that type of but then there's aspects of Rust that clearly rely on some of the better things about object-oriented code, like the whole idea of like traits almost acting like interfaces. I'd have to sit down and think about that. How would I compare those two languages? I still think it has helped me a lot coming to Rust after writing quite a bit of Go in the last 2 months. But both languages are nice. I think both are good. Definitely, neither of them have given me the same feelings as like Python vibes. Which is not that Python's bad, it just Python never really stuck with me. So it's been nice that both of these languages have been languages that if you ask me to write them regularly, I would not be upset about it. All right, let me go set up the coffee station camera. Echo, turn on the basement lights. Test. Yeah, that's working. I think it's working. All right, here we go to the coffee station in 3, 2, 1, go. What do I do? Mute this one. Yeah. Put this one on. There we go. All right, coffee time. Oh no, my phone's dead. Sorry, I was trying to get the chat. I need to do a better job of setting all this shit up before
before I start streaming for the day. There we go. Now we're good. Rust is structs and trait interfaces with complex type matching. Structs and matches? Yeah, I can see that. I do like a good match. I do have a question about, for those of you who are familiar with Rust and Rust tooling, is it possible that I can set the indentation size of my Rust code to not be 4? Can I set the indentation to be 2? Is that possible? Or is this like Go and I get what I get and I don't throw a fit? Go is a strange hybrid of manual memory allocation with GC. When do you, I guess I didn't go far enough in Go to have to deal with the manual memory allocation. When do you have to do that? I forgot to weigh this. Change your Rust format config. Okay, cool. So it is something I can do. I hadn't Googled it, but I figured somebody here would probably know. Somebody in chat always knows. They always know. Alrighty. Now we just wait on our water. Put a Rust format.toml file in the project with the settings you want. Okay, I can do that. Or if I put a Rust format toml file in my project, does it override all the defaults, or does it just override the defaults that I set, or that I override? Like, do I get to keep all the existing, but I can just specify the indentation size? I mean, I guess I can test all this, but I don't know why I'm quizzing you. Coffee time. Just the setting you put in the file or change. Nice. All right. Well, I'm gonna do that because I think four spaces for a tab or for indentation is just too much. That's the C# standard too, is 4, and I hate it. Whenever I have to work in our solution at work, I get so irritated because there's too many spaces on each level of indentation. I mean, I'm totally fine with adapting to whatever the language says you should do, but if the language gives you the option to change it, I'm going to change it. That was actually one of the things about Go that really bothered me, was the fact that I couldn't control any of the formatting. But at the same time, it was also kind of freeing because then I just stopped worrying about it. I don't have any good thoughts to share for this coffee time. So you guys are just going to stand here and watch me wait for my coffee to brew. Oh, the caffeine. Hey, what's up, Uncle Pee Wee? Good morning. You caught us right in the middle of coffee time. Welcome in. Chat's pretty quiet, and I don't have much to say, so we're just chilling. As for Go manual memory, you touch it every time you make an array or map, but it gets weirder when you get into writing C-libs, which is necessary more often than I would like. Oh, really? I guess I never really thought about having to. But I guess, when you go, though, do you ever have to manually clean up after yourself? For example, all 3 WebP wrappers are broken? Huh. I don't think I ever had. I don't think when I was writing Go, I mean, I'm not saying I've written that much Go in my life, but I've never, while writing Go, I never had to deal with any type of. The GC did everything for me. So it sounds like you definitely have far more experience than I do. So I will happily defer. All right, chat. You know what time it is. It's time to go back to the office. To the office. About fell down.
Coffee has been made. I have to reset my audio for whatever reason. Don't know why. Gotta quit Droid Cam. Alright. The GC will clean up after you, but you have to be aware of it when you work with make. Oh, I usually don't use make. I usually just make a literal, I guess, when I declare a map or a slice. All right. Here we go. All right, what are we going to do today? I think we need to add a key map for closing a tab. That's the first thing we'll do. This is not true, or hold on, I don't know if that's true. We need to go back and look at a lot of those to-dos and see if this we don't need anymore. Let's jump down here. Where are we registering our keys? There we go. So we're going to map this to W. So we're going to say W. And we're going to say is close. I gotta find a better way to register these key maps, but for now this will be fine. And then come down here, and we'll say Copilot Silencio. If is close, then we want to return an option that is of type custom that has a view action selected, and that view action, oh no, not view action, file action, sorry. File action selected, and that file action is going to be close, and it is going to accept the file index file dot. We should have access to that in here, I think. I think we want current file. Current file dot path. No, I think we want file index. Oh no, we want the current file. So we just want to close the current file. That's what that should trigger. So if we, yeah. So state dot current file like this. Why is it upset? Am I missing parens? Should have 3 on the end. Mismatch closing delimiter. Yeah, I think I'm missing a parenthesis somewhere. Let's see, file state dot current file. Mismatch type, expected enum, standard option, usize, found type, usize. There we go. There we go. I'll see if it works. Morning, Big J's Faith. Good to see you. Doing meth right now just reminds me how much I hate it. Hold on, Stefan. I think you missed one vowel there. One letter in that sentence made a big difference. I hope I hope what you meant was doing math right now. Because that's a completely different activity. What? Oh, yeah, but why are you spelling it like that? You're spelling it like methamphetamine. Meth? Yeah. Are you doing meth? Are you serious? I don't think you should be doing meth, man. Oh man, that. As a 32-year-old dad, I don't condone this. Alright, so let's create a new tab. And let's close this tab. Okay, so that caused a panic. Attempted to subtract with overflow. Oh, this was the bug that we didn't fix yesterday. Crap, I forgot about this. This was when I realized it was like 7 o'clock. All right, so what is the case that reproduces this? This is basically if you have a tab. So if I have a new tab and I'm here and I close, it's fine. No, it's not fine. I thought we could do that yesterday. We definitely can do this. Okay, what's happening? I thought we fixed all that yesterday. I'm so confused. I love this debug. Rust mode catches overflow and underflow. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty baller feature. Because right in runtime it doesn't. Right? In runtime it wraps around. Alright, so what are we trying to do that keeps tripping this up? Oh, because we're always hitting this line of code. That's done. So we need to explicitly return here to basically say we don't want to do anything else. That's why it was breaking. Why is this all fucked up? I could have sworn I fixed this yesterday. Oh, Ilmanian, you're back. Hello. How goes it over there on Twitch? Is it just you over on Twitch? Well, I guess Stefan's over on Twitch too. So is it just two of you? There we go. Alright, and then we can do this, and we focus on that one. Cool. I know it's uglier. I know this is very, very ugly, but we're not even worried about styling at the moment. We're just focusing on appearance. Or sorry, functionality. Good morning, chat. And then let's save this, Control S. I think it would be really cool to add thin motions to this thing. Or at least basic, maybe not all the motions, but like basic motions, like for navigation, switching between input or insert and navigation mode or normal mode. All right. Okay, so I think the next thing I'd like to tackle is I'd like to tackle being able to display this as Markdown. Or render this to Markdown, and I think I'm not even going to say it. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but I think Iced has a component for this. Trouble is here. I love that you guys jump back and forth between the different platforms. Cyberlanka, I just realized you dressed up like Steve Jobs today. Oh, I do have it zipped up now. Sorry, I did that while I was making coffee. I usually wear it with it zipped down so it doesn't look like a turtleneck as much, but yeah, it does definitely it sucks that Steve Jobs claimed the turtleneck for everybody. Seeing all the explicit returns when you could just remove the semicolon is doing things to me. Oh, can I really? Yeah, I guess I don't need to do that, do I? So you're saying I need to do this without the semicolon? The semicolon feels natural. The semicolon feels so natural. But you're saying, but how do I return, how do I exit the match? Won't that still... Yeah, I guess, don't I need those explicit returns? Otherwise, I'm just going to keep flowing to the following statements. Rustling brings it up. Okay, I'll have to go back and look at that, because I guess I don't know how to get out of the match and not hit these other statements. Because if I remove that, now it's going to try to return this file. But I don't want it to return the file. I guess I could do this, can't I? Task none. Yeah, I'm not sure how to refactor it to get away from that. I'll have to come back. I don't want to trigger anybody with my use of Rust code. I'm not that I'm saying you're triggered, but I don't want to upset anybody with how I've written my Rust code. I want to be a true Rustacean. Kirk, it's just a nuance. You can write Rust either way. It's more of an aesthetic, although better matching makes your app faster. Yeah, I want to be a true Rustacean. You could use a labeled break. Oh, interesting. Uncle Pee Wee, 3.8K here. I keep giving to click it. 6.1K. What are you guys talking about? 3.8K versus 6.1K? What is that? Is that something that's happening over on the Twitch stream? I don't even know what's going on my own stream. What's happening over here? I'm coming to Twitch to see what's going on. Oh, channel points. Nice. Thank you guys for hanging out here. I appreciate you guys hanging out on Twitch. I know there's not a ton of people there right now. We've got a pretty good group on YouTube, and Twitch is the new platform, so it's lagging. You should look into letting us redeem channel points. Okay, how do you do... I don't know if I can do that right now. I'd be happy to let you redeem whatever you want to redeem. How do I set up... Oh, power-ups and channel points. Enable channel points, okay. And then... I guess emotes, rewards, subscriber emotes, bit tier emotes. Nah, that's not what you guys want. Channel points. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some studying. This is like watching your dad try to figure out Twitch. I'm gonna have to do some. I'm gonna have to watch a YouTube video. Nah, how to redeem channel points. Hey, thanks for using my coffee emote, Stefan. But these should. Yeah, we can wire that up. You can make the final statement a match on the files.length instead of the early return if statements. In theory, it will be optimized better. We do have ways to send them. Oh, nice. Yeah, we can direct them to text to speech. I need to figure out how to do it though. I'm guessing it's an event in streamer bot that I know YouTube's like, oh, we don't care about any of this, Steven. We're on YouTube, not Twitch. All right, I'm just going to take a note real quick. I'm going to take a note with my Notepad application. Got the best emote. No, I appreciate you using them. I put time into thinking about the emotes. I mean, I didn't want people to feel like I just tossed anything up there. Let's see. Figure out how Twitch viewers can convert channel points into text to speech messages. Homework. All right, I'll figure it out. I think that sounds like a lovely idea. I'm pretty sure there's a markdown widget. Yep, right here, markdown widget displays a bunch. Excuse me, markdown widgets can parse and display markdown syntax. You can enable the highlighter feature for syntax highlighting in code blocks. Only the variants of item are currently supported. Okay. Text to speech for sure. Maybe a hydrate one as well. Normal in a lot of streams. What's a hydrate one? Like drink, like go drink water? Is that what that means? Oblivion, you drew the emote? No. Gemini. I took a picture of myself drinking coffee and then I asked Gemini to create a cartoon version, like a sticker pack cartoon. So I didn't draw it. I wish I could draw that good. Can we have a Steven drawing stream? That'd be cool. But if I could draw, I would do that, but I can't draw very well. The way I draw is I watch those directed drawing videos. You guys ever seen those on YouTube? My kids showed me them. Directed drawing. Yeah, they're meant for kids, but which I mean you'll probably laugh, but my kids introduced me to these videos, and so like if I want to draw something, I typically will like sit down with my iPad and I'll have YouTube on one side, and then I'll have like what's that app, ProArt? I'll have that up on the other side. I did draw something that did make an appearance on my channel when we were doing the Christmas live streams or the Advent of Code live streams. I did draw these guys. Where are they? I did draw these. I drew all this on these thumbnails. The Christmas, the packages, and the Santa. I drew all that. Stefan's going crazy with the emotes over on Twitch. Hydrate. Okay. So hydrate is just like a recommendation to go drink water. I like it. I think in ICE you use a command to finish off the statement, and that supports you leaving the match without that explicit return. Okay, I'll have to look into that, Kirk. I'm so new to ICE still. I don't know all the ways you're supposed to do everything. See you, Stefan. Appreciate you, man. Have a good day. Thanks for hanging out with us. It was good to see you, man. Good to hear from you. All right. So it looks like we have to take our content text and we have to parse that to Markdown. And then we have to render a Markdown widget with a theme. And I'm not sure what this is about. Map. I'm not sure what that's about. But let's see if we can get this working. So basically, I'm going to have like an option. Let's add another option to the view. Let's see, view action. Let's just do, for now, let's just do view action preview. And let's do view action, or sorry, preview, like that. Now this is going to complain. And we'll do write preview. Okay. We need to fill this guy. So when it is selected, what are we going to do? I guess actually what we want to do is we want to toggle, right? So let me add, let's say toggle preview. Or, yeah, toggle preview. That's what we'll do. Because basically on our state, we're going to need to have like a mode almost, right? We're going to have like a mode. So let's add a new one up here. That's enum mode. And we'll have edit, and we'll have preview. And then this will be mode is mode. And by default, it's in edit mode. Oops. Default for file, default for state. So we'll say mode equals mode edit. And then in here, all we'll do is we'll just basically toggle that mode. So we'll say if state.mode is edit, oh, sorry, we can match on this, sorry. Match on state.mode. And then we can say, if we're editing, if we're currently editing and you hit the preview button, then you're going to get state.mode set to mode preview and vice versa. I don't know if there's a different... we could probably get away with the Boolean that we just flip back and forth. But I think having a mode means that in the future we could add other modes to do other things. So maybe this is useful if I ever want to try to add Vim navigation. But I don't think I care about... So what I... Oh, shoot, sorry. I just disconnected my headset. I am in a hot mess sometimes. I'm going to fix that. One sec. Sorry about that. Completely interrupted the jams. Command. We don't have commands anymore. I have to set up a special speaker bot commands. I have to set up a special speaker bot command that will print out all the commands as a message, and I haven't done that yet. So I apologize. Rex, do you know about the default trait on enum yet? The map is a call on link clicks to an action. Okay, cool. I don't think I need that now, though, so I'll ignore it. But it might be helpful. Hey, Google, stop. I don't know why. At some point, my Google Home just started talking. I do not know about the default trait on enum. What is the value of that in this case? I don't want to do this. This is not what I want to do. So what I care is if someone clicks toggle preview, regardless of what they're doing, I want to say if state.mode equals mode preview, then state mode equals we'd basically have to know, we'd basically sort of have to know what the last mode was, really. Because I guess what I'm thinking is in a future world where there's more than two modes, like I want you to be able to shift into preview mode from really any mode, but once you exit preview mode, I want to be able to return you to whatever mode you were in, if that makes sense. The trait bound is not satisfied, unsatisfied. Oh, this is why I need the default, huh? Is that what you're saying? Derive default on enum with no default. So how do I put a default on here? Yeah, so how do I do this? Good morning, Rockin' Brain. Good to see you. Tag the default enum with hashtag default. Okay. Hashtag. How'd you put it? Default? Okay, I'm gonna have to Google that because I don't seem to know. I don't seem to know the right syntax. Rust enum default. You can define a default value for an enum using the derived default attribute in combination with the default attribute on one of its unit variants. Oh, I see. I was putting it in the wrong place. Like, what are we doing here? So yeah, by default, then we'll always set it to edit. And then I have to put this up here too. And now everyone's happy, which then means I think what brought that up was because down here in the boot function, I set that. And what you're saying is you don't need to do that because you already defined the default as edit. Okay. And then what I need to do now is whenever we run our view function, we basically need to not render the text editor, but instead render the markdown component. So right now this is our editor, but we only want to render this in preview mode. Yeah, right? So let's see if we can't, first of all, let's just make our markdown. So markdown content is going to be equal to markdown. I thought there was a markdown widget. Is it a separate, maybe it's a separate feature I have to bring in from iced? Available on crate feature markdown only. Yeah, this is like images. You have to do this with images too. So we have to go to our cargo toml and we have to change this to markdown. Like that. And then I think we have to go back to our code. And let's just remove this for now. Let's try to build it. Cargo build. Oh no, my YouTube thing broke. While we wait for that to build, we can chat. For your multi-mode preview future proofing, you could have the preview variant carry the previous mode. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a super good idea. Yeah, I love that. That's a great idea, RayX. Thank you very much. This is why streaming is actually a really kind of actually productive activity beyond just like building community and having a good time, but I actually learn something all the time. Rockin' Brain, hey, did you solve the tab index issue from yesterday? I did. Yeah, I did. My Rockin' Brain, my issue was basically that whenever I was managing the tab, let's see, tab, yeah, close. Whenever I was closing, I was not explicitly returning here. So basically, we were running this logic, and then we would also fall through and run this logic, or vice versa. And what I really wanted to do was either an if-else, or in this case, I just did an explicit early return. But now we don't ever get ourselves into that invalid state. Oh, you can't see that. Sorry. My bad, man. Hey, Uncle Pee-wee. Twitch only, whoop. Yeah, Rockin' Brain, sorry. I did fix the tab thing. It was because here on these lines of code, yesterday I had this. So we were basically hitting this if statement, and then we were also running this logic down here. And really, these are these should be mutually exclusive. So I just added an early return like that to prevent me from running into that situation. So that's what we did. I do the same with parser state machines. Okay, so I'm going to do what you suggested here. So you're saying on my view action, I should carry the previous mode like that. And in this case, now I have to declare something here. And how did I get around this? before. I can't do that. I can do that here, I think. But I have to do something here. So how can I have an empty enum? Which is what I want. Or maybe I can do mode default. No, because it's static. I guess I can I just do edit? But this breaks everything. Why does this break everything? The trait standard marker copy cannot be implemented for this type. Add debug, derive debug to mode for manual debug mode. The trait bound clone is not satisfied. Binary option cannot be applied to trait bound mode. Okay, so these came with the ice setup. So maybe I don't need these. I added them because that's where they were originally on this file action. I don't think I need these. You need some type indirection, use an option or a box. Okay. Now I'm thinking. How do I? Okay, this is not a big deal. Let's get the markdown working and let's just come back to this. Because this isn't a huge deal. This is not a huge deal. Whoops. And I'm just going to add a note with what you said, which is, what did you say? You said carry the previous view, carry this previous, let's see, to do carry previous mode when toggling so that if we are already in preview, we can just put the user back where they were. Okay, I like that idea. I just have to figure out how to implement it. And then what we're going to do here is in the view, we want to have some markdown now. So let's go down here below our editor and let's say, great, we want markdown content. And this has now a markdown function. Which takes a string slice, which means we can do state dot current file dot content dot text, like this. Why are you complaining? Temporary value dropped while borrowed. Creates a temporary value which is freed while still in use. Consider using let to create a longer lived value. Okay. Well, how do we do it with the editor? Okay. So I guess what I want to do is I want to do let file, or yeah, let's just do let file text equals current file dot content dot text, like this. And that gives me a string, but I want a string slice. Now is everybody happy? Yes, now everybody's happy. So then, now that we have the markdown content, we'll make the markdown widget. So this is our markdown preview. And this is going to be equal to markdown, which is a function. And we take in a reference to the markdown. We pass in, I guess, a theme is what we pass here. And then we just call into. Or I don't even think we have to call into. I think we can just say markdown content. And then what is this? This is settings. Okay, so do we have like a default settings? Yeah. And then can we do default? No. With style? To owned with text size? What if I don't pass this? You're mad. You're so mad. So I guess I'll just pass the theme. We'll just do dark. I think that's what I'm using down below in the startup function. Theme dark, yep. So I'll just do the same thing for our markdown component. And then now that we have markdown content, it's not happy about that. Why are you not happy? Type mismatching resolving impl iterator as we need a reference. We do not want to transfer ownership. Now why are you mad? Required by a bound introduced by this call, consider removing the leading ampersand. Consider changing this borrower's mutability. Well, that's how they do it. I don't know what I don't understand about that. So what does parse return to me? Parse returns to me an iterator of items, right? And this guy wants a what? This guy wants a iterator of items, and it wants, looks like some specific lifetime. And specifically it wants references to the items. Huh. Okay. Keeps telling me to do that. Now I'm just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. Okay, so I don't understand this. So how can I figure this out? We're going to have to go on a Google Foo adventure. The Markdown theme has a from impl for widget settings. Okay, so I'll try that whenever I want to tinker. I just want to see if I can get it the preview actually rendering. But for whatever reason, this is not working. It wants an iterator of references to items with references that live at least as long as the widget. Okay, so that's the stat. That's what that lifetime declaration is in the generic. So it's interesting. This returns to me though. Why does this return to me? Okay, so how do I get an iterator? How do I turn this into a reference? Okay. Let's see, Rust. I have an iterator of items in Rust, but I want an iterator of references to item. Dot iter. Obtain an iterator. I don't know. You should use the iter method on the underlying collection or the asref method. Into iter. Huh. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. It should work passing a ref of the vec. You can always try cargo check to see if the compiler has more to say. Okay. Cargo check. Oh, I need to fix that. That token. Hold on. Let me fix that because it's just going to keep shouting at me very loudly. Remove token response. And we're back. And we're live again. All right, so you're saying I should be able to just pass a reference to this, right? So why doesn't it like that? So whenever I try to pass a reference, okay. Consider changing this borrower's mutability to @mut. That's not working. Let's see, type mismatch resolving import. Okay, it's still, so basically it's the same complaint. I think at the heart of this is it still is saying huh. Is it because file text? No. I don't know, man. Wait, what is the type of content? Content, is it not a vec? Content is an iterator. An iterator. 10 minutes remaining, boss. Oh, Pee-wee. Don't remind me. Yeah, I have 10 minutes. Man, I was really hoping I would get the markdown preview functionality working today. That's like the one big piece of functionality that isn't there yet before I start worrying about the styling. Let's see. What's interesting is we have an into iter function here. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some Googling. Declare the content as a vec of markdown items? You mean like this? Do vec like that? Replace qualified path with use? That's fine. Mismatch type? I wonder if I'm just using the wrong... Am I using the wrong namespace? Or I guess it's not namespace, but the wrong using statement? Could that be it? Use widget markdown. Collect the iter. Bob the maker, he can... Then you need to collect the iter. Collect the iter return from the parse call. Let's see. Collect, like that. Okay, and what do you then turn into? You turn into some unknown thing. Oh, this is where I then do vec markdown item. A value of type vec ampersand iced markdown cannot be built from an iterator over elements of typed ice item. Okay. And so then we would say this. And now everyone's unhappy again. Type annotations needed. Oh no, this is because I'm not returning it. So this is where what happens if I just stick it here. I'm just gonna put it in the... Right, now you're complaining. Why are you complaining? Mismatch type. You know what? I wonder if the reason why we were struggling so much is because they were calling map. Oh, actually, hold on. Maybe it's because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Hold on. This should be... I think this should be view. Let's try this. I'm so sorry. It would help if I actually read the documentation. Okay, that's still not happy though. So so is this why? So this is why I don't know why that would be necessary. Um, but let's just say for the sake of, oh no, my mouse disconnected. Ah, there we go. So let's just say for the sake of the example, we are gonna do something where we map over messages linked. Link click like this. I think it's still complaining about the same issue even when I change to the view thing. I think it's still complaining about the same issue. So maybe we were still on the right path. So now it's just a matter of getting this type to resolve correctly. Mismatch type, found struck, element standard string. So is it like a one or the other type of thing? Like it can't be both? Ah, interesting. I mean, I think that's fine. So is it basically saying that like I can't render because the types don't match? Okay, I will say that the Rust errors in here are just like horribly unreadable, and I don't know if that's a skill issue or if anybody. I mean, if anybody finds this readable, I don't understand. I've got a long ways to go. But I think what's happening is there's a bunch of type inference that's going on using generics with all these iced macros and these iced widgets. And I think that my theory is that this markdown preview is violating those generics somehow. I'm not sure how. I wonder if I do this. What if I do come back here and I say into? What does this do? Does that make people? Oh, I think that made some people happy. Maybe. No, it made other people unhappy. Type must be known at this. Consider giving Markdown Preview an explicit type, where the type for the type parameter theme is specified. Ice core element theme something something. Oh, shoot, you scared me. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. I'm almost done. I'll be out there in a minute. Love you. Oh, my son snuck up on me. He scared me. He's so quiet. You need the into. Let's do Sith together after this project. Sorry guys, I wasn't trying to ignore it. If you get a vec of items, what are you going to do with it? Vec of owned items, parse.collect. I fell behind on chat. I'm trying to catch up on everything you guys were saying. Try cargo check in the terminal. I did not. I forgot to do that. You told me to do that, and then I forgot. Cargo. Oops, I'm in the wrong place. You need a common type to display both. Okay. And I don't think I know how to do. I don't think I know how to get to a common type. No, you said cargo check. Sorry, cargo check. Note the full name for the type has been written. The full name to the type was written to a file? Oh my goodness. Oh, like what Frankensteinian stuff are we doing with types that we have to write it to a file? Let's see, Notepad. That's actually a functionality I want to add to mine. Is I want to be able to invoke my application with a file name and have it be what the state is initialized. Okay, so this is the type that's, I guess, problematic or something. I'm just going to make that big so I can read it. And then let's go back and look at the compiler. We have unused import settings. What was that sound about? Okay, I don't think it gave me any more helpful warnings. I think basically we have a mismatched type, and I think what RayX was saying is you need a common type to display both. I think that's my big issue here. But I'm not sure how to get to a common type, I think is my problem. Because I don't even really know what the types are. Yeah. Maybe we'll do some Google foo real quick. See if anyone else has tried to do this. Iced render markdown. So maybe I need to wrap it in a separate container, maybe? I'm saying all this because I don't really know. So I'm just gonna say let preview container equals this. And then let's just make this a whenever I say stuff like that, it always makes me think of Anchorman, where he's reading the teleprompter and he's like, I am Ron Burgundy. Okay, so this will be preview container. Okay, but now we just moved the issue over here. And we're basically in the same thing. It has something to do with this iced WGPU render, iced tiny Skia render. It's just a completely different thing. You know what I mean? It's just a completely different like a completely different type of iced widget or iced element. It almost makes me wonder if I just need to like if state.mode equals mode.preview. Sorry, preview, colon, preview. Like just return markdown preview dot into. Yeah, because I'm using type infer. Look at this message. Holy shit! Look at that. That's so ugly. But basically, there's a bunch of generic typing that's happening right now. That's what I'm running into. There's a bunch of generic type inference that's happening, and I don't understand how to resolve it, which is frustrating to me. Oh, I can't do it I can't check like that. Whoopsies. Whoopsies. Let's see, to do figure out how we render out this markdown preview widget thing. Well, we're gonna have to take an L on that one today. Oof, these mammoth types. This is why ICE is not beginner friendly. Yeah, and I totally yeah, it's not an ICE problem. It's a Steven problem. I think ICE is very upfront about the fact that like, hey, we're an experimental piece of software. We're not fully documented, nor do we actually have any aspirations to be fully documented. And you're going to need to know Rust, and you're going to need to be comfortable reading source code. And so I think it's more of a me issue than a them issue. Almost as bad as trying to do async pinned futures and types. I don't even know anything about async Rust to be able to understand how difficult what you just said is, but I will take you at your word that it's equally as difficult. Oblivious. RIP the eGUI recommendation. You did recommend that, and I just took a left when I should have gone right. Good morning, Gun. Thanks for being a member, man. Kirk, you probably need messages to be returned from your match. Okay. I'll think about that. Yeah, I do have this typed as element message. And maybe it needs to be, maybe the return of the view needs to be typed differently. But at this point, I don't know. And at this point, I have to take off my YouTuber cap and go put on my employee cap. Rocking Brain. The methods is expecting a typed message, but you are passing a string. That's what I can read for this weird error. Oh, really? So you think it's really that simple, huh? Kind of what, who was it? Who said that? Kirk. Basically what Kirk said. Okay. Maybe that is what I'm doing wrong. I'm just going to add a little note about that because I won't remember when I come back here tomorrow. Note, is it because string instead of message? Yeah, because I guess the type at the view type is basically saying, what is it saying? This is saying it returns elements which produce messages, is what this type signature up here says. So maybe something about how I'm building this markdown is violating that. Yeah, it's a container that produces a message. This is a text editor that produces a message. So my preview doesn't produce a message, I guess. See, this is the problem whenever I said I need to go, and now I'm like, yeah, so markdown preview produces a string. So how would I make it produce a message? Is this why that map is important then in their example? Like, let's just say like map message. I'm just gonna pick a random thing just to see if the types will file action new. Now, why is this complaint? Okay, so then okay, that's interesting. Expected a function standard string closure found message required by bound introduced by cell. Okay, I'm not have enough time to dig through this, but I need to dig through it because I think that way lies the answer. Right? I think that type differential is what's producing the really strange error, like you said. So this is an element which produces a string, and all my other elements produce messages. And so somehow we need to get this typed so that this markdown preview is element message, not element string. Or that's my theory. All right, we'll come back. There'll be more days ahead. All right, chat. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow, see if you guys figure out this issue. Okay, yeah, man. Love to have you back. RayX, that was the map call. Map it to a message type. Okay, that's what we need to do, RayX. I believe you. Buzztronics, hello. How are you, Buzztronics? I like the wave. So for the longest time, Buzztronics, I kept seeing people type this in chat, and I had no idea what it meant. 07. You guys ever seen people type that in chat like that? I had no idea what this meant. And apparently this is like a salute or something, like someone saluting. Yeah, salute or I was so lost. I too learned them only recently. Okay, cool. So I'm not the only one. Those are those moments when I realize, damn, I am getting older. Oh, I like that one. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to put those to use. I want to stay young. You know, I've got two young boys. I want to stay hip. I want to stay up with it. Bob, no, good stream. Sorry I snoozed through most of it. Slept poorly last night. I'll be more awake tomorrow. No worries at all, Bob. Thanks for hanging out, man. Sleep is way more important than trying to help me get over the Rust hurdle. Alrighty, guys. Well, I guess I'll do my normal wrap up. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me so much. If you're new here, there's a lot of people who are not new here, but if you are new here, the best place to find me and chat outside of our stream is, or my stream is, in our Discord, and I'll drop that link in the chat real quick. It's just discord.stephenfreeborn.com. Pretty straightforward. If you want to come back and like hang out on stream again, I'm live every morning from 4:15 to 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. I know for people in the U.S. that's kind of a weird time for a programming stream just because it's super early in the morning. But if you can come join, that would be awesome. But no pressure at all. Even if it's just to say hi, just stop in, say hi, and then bounce. It's always nice. Salute. I like it, Duck Boy. Thanks for being a member again, Duck Boy. Appreciate you. You asked, what happened to TG Group? I don't know what that is. TG Group? What's that in reference to, you last? I like that one. I'm going to use that one. Telegram. Oh, shoot. I completely forgot, you last. That's my bad. I do have the Telegram group set up. Okay, hold on. Before I go today, let me add that as another homework assignment. That's my bad, dude. I'm sorry. I told you I was going to do that, and then I didn't do it, and I apologize. I'm better than that. I will fix this. Let's see. Cargo run. I think this will still work. You can add me directly. Yes. So what I'll do is I'll just create a vanity URL and then I'll send that, and that way you guys can just join. I'd be perfectly honest, you last. I don't use Telegram that much, so I'll be honest with you. I don't know how often I might check it. I'll try to remember. Let's see. Set up vanity URL for Telegram channel. Set up streamer bot command for Telegram link. I'll do that, and I'll try to get better about checking Telegram. Not a heavy user. Nobody in my life really uses it, but I totally understand people who can't get access to Discord. That really sucks. So we should definitely have some other option available for folks to do that sort of thing. We can create a Telegram bot to sync messages from Discord. Oh, that would be cool. That'd be like a fun project. Yeah, that'd be a very cool project. I like the way you think. Is Facebook popular there? I think a lot of people, at least in my orbit, have a Facebook, and I still have a Facebook, but I don't really use it much for communication or like content. I mainly use it just to kind of keep tabs on family and friends, particularly like family and friends from like high school, college days, But I don't really I don't really post much there. Buzzstrong, is that PowerShell or WSL? This is PowerShell. Yeah, I'm in PowerShell. I like WSL, but I'm perfectly content with just being on the Windows side of the house when I'm doing local development. We can create Rust Discord bot. Let's go. Rust Discord bot. That sounds hard. Rust Discord bot sounds really hard. Buzztronic, I like chat, non-social media apps. I would agree with that sentiment. I've had more positive interactions with people in my Discord than I've had probably anywhere else in like an internet, like an internet setting. The day you switch to Linux, it's gonna happen. I probably won't permanently switch to Linux, but we will. Once I get a new laptop, we will do a stream. We'll do several streams of getting that laptop set up for some Linux distro of some particular flavor, and you guys can coach me through all the nitty-gritty of it. I'm gonna abandon Mac. Okay, well, I guess we're all gonna have a Linux arc in the future. Bob Knoll, it's gonna happen. It is gonna happen. I promise. It's gonna happen. I'm still saving. I know what laptop I want, and I don't want to skimp on the specs, so I'm trying to save. Max battery life is OP, Buzztronic. Max battery life is insane. I've never had a Windows or a non-Mac laptop whose battery touches the experience I had with MacBooks. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Let's create a Linux distro with Rust. Now we're just trying to get into all kinds of crazy difficulty. I can barely figure out how to get a freaking Markdown preview widget to render. You guys are over here talking about building a distro with Rust. I do like the idea of the Telegram bot, though. Or the syncing of messages. That would be pretty cool. I don't want to write it in Rust, though. I was trying to see if maybe there's a way we could leverage the existing Discord bot that we built last year on stream to do that for us. I'll do some research, but I'll definitely get it set up. You last, bro, I built kernel with Rust for a company. That's insane. RayX, be crazy. Use NixOS. Oh, man. People be peer pressuring me right now. You last, that was not fun at all. Doesn't sound fun at all, but it sounds like you have a lot of skills and great experience, which is awesome. Buzztronics, can I ask what is your previous experience, web or mobile? I mostly do web development stuff. So I did like in the last year, I built a lot of CLI tools, a lot of web dev stuff, a lot of APIs. Built a few different like background worker type of services, right? That just kind of sit in a container and run and do stuff. My day job though, and if you're ever curious, you can just if you do !LinkedIn in the chat, you can find my LinkedIn. I'm happy to connect with you guys there. But my day job is I work as a quality engineer, and then in my free time, I like to do like proper like development. I don't know if I'll ever work professionally as a software engineer. As long as I can work at the company I'm currently working at, I like being a quality engineer. I like just focusing on the validation and the testing. I don't know if I'd enjoy doing software development professionally for other people. I like doing it for myself, but I don't know if I want to build other people's software. I'm happy at work with being involved in the life cycle the way I am involved in it. If I have to leave the company I work for now, I'd probably try to get a software developer gig. But right now I'm getting the best of both worlds. I get to write code for a living, or part of my living at least, 50, 75% of it. And then in my free time, I get to do all the development how I want to do it, the way I want to do it. With none of the pressures of meeting deadlines or anything like that. Good morning, Danny. Good to see you, man. Strizer Edits. Hey, what's up, buddy? Can you suggest me, also, what's up with you, buddy? Can you suggest me in which language I can start preparing for a DSA? I'm new in this field. I still point everybody to learn JavaScript first. I just think JavaScript is a nice language. It's friendly. It's dynamically typed. It gives you access to all the different places that you might want to build some piece of software to run. It's kind of eaten the world in a lot of ways. And then JavaScript gives you a very easy entry point into learning about static typing because you can just layer TypeScript on top of it. And then from there, you can learn something like C# or Go. Pick your next adventure type of thing. So that's where I always recommend people to start. I know chat has different thoughts. I know chat sometimes says Python. Sometimes they say start with something as low level as C. But I think for me, I would just probably go with JavaScript. ULS, a lot of async environment, tears, questioning mental health. Yeah, I can imagine. That sounds very, very hard. Danny, Steven, the Rust guy. No, Steven is pretending to be a Rustacean currently, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. And chat is trying to help me a lot, which I very much appreciate. Yo, Steve, I just saw that I got a 99% in my object orientation class. Hey, congratulations. Hold on. Let's clap it up, man. That deserves way to go. I mean, and just think back, just what was that? Like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, you were nervous if you were going to be able to do this. I told you you'd kill it, man. Let's clap it up. That's awesome. W. That's awesome, man. Yeah, love that. Congratulations. You are not a software developer. I don't work professionally as a like I would like my title is quality engineer. It's not software engineer. I don't know what you have to do to lay claim to be a software developer. Um, right? So I think if you were to if someone was to ask me, I would probably answer yes. I I can develop software, so therefore I am a software developer. But what I was trying to communicate was just that I don't currently uh, build features for the company I work for, right? Like I don't get paid to build the features. I just get paid to build tests for the features. Ulas, I can assure you, you are better than 90% of devs I saw. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know about that, but I'm trying to get better all the time. Yeah, programming is so fun when you do what you want. It really is, especially if you're the curious type. It really is, Buzztronic. It's the best way to build. It's all the stuff around coding and programming that make coding and programming not fun, but the central activity is what's the most fun. Of course, Big J. Happy to celebrate your wins, man. That's awesome. Bro, if you use Vim, you're a software dev. Yes. What do you mean by quality engineer? Basically, just like the way we're still structured in a very old school way. Our teams, so like we have a separate quality team from the developers, and so the developers handle the implementation, and then we handle all the testing. And some of that testing is done manually, and some of it's done in an automated fashion. And so that's where I sit in the company, as I sit in our quality group, which I know is kind of an older school model to software development compared to what a lot of companies do now, but that is what it is. If you write the test, you're technically a developer. Yeah, I'll lay claim to the engineer title, the developer title, in that sense. But I never want to offend anybody who I know is working building production software, and they think that I'm trying to put myself up next to them. I understand I don't totally understand all the pressures and stuff that you guys are dealing with. I read the description as two who enjoys drinking coffee. Reacts the same. Game companies need it the most. Really? Oh, I didn't know that. I always wondered how game companies do QA. I gotta imagine it's very, very difficult, right? Because you got this kind of graphical component to it and everything. Um, yeah, I gotta imagine that's tricky, tricky problem to solve. Danny, man, you're the most talented developer I saw. Well, Danny, that's very nice, but I don't think I'm up there for most folks, and that's okay. I'm not trying to necessarily. I'm running my own race, and I think I would encourage everybody, just like you're running your own race. Everyone's got their own goals and skills and where they want to get to, and I'm just focused on getting better. Getting a little better every day. Imagining kids drinking coffee. Yeah. I guess my grandma's from Honduras, and she used to tell me that in Central America, it was actually pretty common, especially for folks who weren't as well off, to mix coffee with milk for kids. That was a common thing that people did there, which I was very surprising because people are so weird about giving kids caffeine. But I guess like a little bit of coffee watered down milk isn't really probably that much caffeine. You last bro, like now 5-year-old kids with access to Claude claim himself as a software dev. So could you? Yeah. I don't know. Like when I think of and that's personally, I measure myself against people like David Fowler, or like I measure myself against these people that I see online, who I look up to, and I also measure myself against the developer, because like that's one of the things that I think has made me a better software or better engineer, is like every time there's a PR checked in where I work, I read the PR. Like I read all the PRs that our devs open. And so I know over the last 5 years, I've gotten much better because my ability to understand the PRs, right, has improved a lot, and my ability to navigate our code base has gotten a lot better. So I know I'm getting better, and that's the main thing I care about. I've read somewhere that their GUI testing methods were bots clicking widgets. Interesting. Yeah, I would love that. Would be. I don't know if any of you guys know anybody, but if you guys knew anybody who would like to give the 411 on how QA is done in game companies, I would love to. I would love to hear about it because I've never been exposed to that world before. Good morning. Good morning, Gravity Wolf. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Bro, I worked with Victalic Buterin, so you are not like the best dev I saw, but in mentality, you are in top 10. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, but I can't believe you've worked with him, though. Isn't that the guy that created Ethereum? What was that like? He seems like he's a very, very smart individual, but I always find that interacting with people that are that intelligent can sometimes be difficult. Just a little bit of coffee to change the taste, yeah. Make the milk go further. Very high bar, though. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. Good morning, Eric. Good to see you, man. Yep, that's insane. He's smart, extremely weird. That's how he kind of comes off in interviews that I've seen him in. But that's really cool, man. You've done a lot of cool stuff, Ulas. That's awesome. Gravity, well, thank you, brother. Hope you and everyone else had a good day. I'm off to the ski resort to sharpen the saw for the day. All right, man. Have a good day, Gravity Wolf. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, we're going to try to make a good Tuesday. Have ourselves a good Tuesday. Eric, is it okay to be a beginner? I mean, I have hard times wanting to quickly level up when learning programming. I think it's totally fine to be a beginner, man. I think being a beginner, being a student is always the most exciting place to be. It's when you have the most opportunities to improve with the least amount of effort. I think right now the entire software industry is screaming, go faster, do more, write more lines of code, use AI, be more productive. Um, and a lot of that is based on like the value that can be delivered to stakeholders and customers. And so I would just like maybe just try to block a little bit of that out and remember that that's not necessarily everyone's goal. If your goal is just to get better at programming or engineering, speed's not really necessarily that important. Getting better is what's important. So whatever that means to you, whatever that looks like to you is what I would do. Buzztronic, what is the desktop app you're building? Oh, that's the Notepad thing that I've been showing. This thing. It's basically like we're trying to recreate the Notepad app on Windows, but using Rust. It's this thing. Oh, whoops, sorry, you can't see that. It's this guy. And we have some of the basic functionality. It's not all there, but we have some of it. I wish I knew how to use Vim. You can definitely figure out Vim. It just takes time. See, Oblivious. I'm getting really tired and we'll be heading out. I might have some stories in the future in regards to QA and game dev. Oh, I would love to hear him. Even if it's just in Discord, I would love to hear him. See, Oblivious. Have a good day. Thanks for hanging out. Game dev QA is basically building botting suites and a side dose of good old grinding. Nice. Okay. So many thoughts come when learning, like it's too late, job market is cooked, and so on. Eric, I empathize with you wholeheartedly. I think right now it feels a little bit like Chicken Little out there in the software world, and it's hard sometimes to ignore all that. But I guess the thing I would just encourage you is that, like, regardless of what you do, the time is going to pass, and if you want to use that time to improve your skills, I think that's a useful use of your time. And I think in 20 years, people are still going to need folks who know how to build software and write code and understand code. And I don't think that's going to change I don't think it's going to change so soon that it's going to matter to us. Maybe it changes at some point, but if you're 20 or 30, we've got probably a 30-year work horizon ahead of us if all goes well. And I think I think it's safe to say that that's still going to be a valuable skill. I know not everybody agrees with that, but that's where I'm at. We had a beta tester group going on where we would low-key hire community members to brute force our beta branches. It was hilarious because it was for mostly free and it helped a lot. That's cool. That's cool. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Hey, what's up, Shudo? Bro, I started to use shortcuts in Vim, and boy, did I get fast. Yeah, I think Vim Motions is. I'm still not very fast at Vim Motions, but I love navigating my code using Vim Motions. Danny, I am thinking Vim mode in VS Code. Go for it. I have the Vim extension set up in my VS Code. Yeah, for sure. Buzstronics, are you the one telling the GUI where to render characters, or is it done for you by GUILib? Oh, we're 100% using GUILib, Buzstronic. We're using ice.rs is the GUILib we're using. I wasted my time doing nothing. I'm 28 now and starting all over again to learn coding. Dude, you didn't waste your life, man. Or your time. You know, you haven't wasted anything. You're just getting started. You're 28. That's when I started learning. I mean, I'm 32, so I'd have been 27. Yeah, 27, I think, when I really got serious about learning how to code. So you've got plenty of time, man. You're just getting started. And I'm just getting started. We got a lot of life left. It's going to be good. And it's going to the thing is, like, these 30 years, these next 30 years, 40 years of our life, they're going to go by like that. It's going to go like my kid, I had my kid, and now my oldest kid is 9. And in 9 more years, she'll be 18. And in 9 more years, she'll be 27. Like, these years, the years go by so quickly. And so many of the things that people talk about and worry about every day just don't end up mattering. So I would just focus on the things you want to get better at and the things you enjoy doing and pursue those and look for opportunities to get better about those. And I wouldn't worry too much about the doom and gloomers. Zed is so much faster than VS Code and is very customizable. I've tried Zed for about an hour, but that was probably 8 months ago or 9 months ago. So maybe I need to circle back to Zed. You last, bro. I also got 2 kids though. Yeah, I've got 2. Yeah. Yeah, it goes, I don't know, man. Time goes fast. Kids have definitely opened my eyes up to that. All right, folks. I'm going to be late to work, I think, but that's okay. I had fun. I had fun. Thanks for the, of course, Eric. Yeah, I want to see you win, man. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. So come hang out with us some here in the mornings and soak up the positive vibes and then go learn some code. See, Steven got a bounce. Yeah, I got a bounce too, man. I appreciate that, Danny. All right, y'all. I think I did the normal wrap up, right? Discord. You can find us in Discord, discord.stevenfreeborn.com. I'll put that one more time in the chat. And then my schedule. I'll put the schedule in the chat as well. So if you want to interact outside of stream, Discord's the best place. Come back between 4:15 and 7 a.m. in the morning. And I'll likely be live on Twitch or YouTube. And but now I got to run. All right, chat. Bye, guys. Bye. See you guys. Appreciate y'all.